Hi, I'm here with Jamie Smith to answer one of your questions. Do you think that some of what attracts people to the new Calvinism might not be that far off from what attracts others to the emerging or emergent church? That on some level both are a response to a church that shunned deep thought and hard questions?
Yeah, I think this question has an intuition here. You know, it's interesting. Right around the time that people were talking about the new Calvinism, Mark Driscoll from Seattle was also still kind of identified with the emerging church. So it's even in wider conversations at some of its earliest point. I don't know when to pinpoint that. There was a clear overlap between this emerging church conversation and this new Calvinist phenomenon. And then, rightly, I think, I completely understand why Mark Driscoll says, well, wait, if that's what the emerging church conversation is, I'm not part of that. I'm part of this other project. So, in a way, Driscoll kind of illustrated that overlap. What would it be? Because I do think it's right. I think the kind of people some of the people who are drawn to this resurgence of Calvinism have the same reaction to the pragmatism and kind of slick marketing campaigns of evangelical megachurchism that the emerging church people are reacting to as well. So both of them, I think you could say, are a critique of and a response to the kind of 80s generic evangelicalism of their parents or their youth groups, or whatever sort of shaped them. And both the emerging church and the new Calvinism want to think through philosophical and theological questions in a way. It's just that they have such different answers. The emerging church folks, I think that conversation has clearly gone in a direction that is just allergic to orthodoxy, in some significant ways. Whereas you might say the new Calvinism tends to almost a little bit of I was going to say hyper-orthodoxy, but maybe a very narrowly prescribed orthodoxy. It's funny, when we first started talking about the emerging church, I don't know, 10 years ago or whatever it might have been, Robert Webber was sadly still alive and was writing very important books. And at that point in the conversation, you could have imagined an emerging church that was what Webber would have called ancient future. That is, it would have been taking seriously the challenges of postmodernism, but then it would have been looking back to the resources of ancient and historic Christianity. That's kind of my dream for New Calvinism. What I dream about is a stream of emerging ancient future faith that shares the Reformed sensibility of indebtedness tradition, the riches of ancient and historic voices, but maybe it also takes a little more seriously our postmodern climate, analyzes that not quite so simplistically, takes culture seriously. So maybe in some ways I'm trying to bring these conversations back together a little bit, because I do think that they have a similar impetus behind them. Yeah.
Great, thank you very much.
Yeah.